it's Barb. Welcome to my craft studio. I'm going to do a little tour for you of the room, just kind of show you how I have it set up. I'm not going to go real into depth, just kind of basically what's in it, each area. I think what I'm going to do is kind of start a series and maybe try to focus on a different section of the room every week or two. But anyways, I hope you enjoy seeing how I have things set up and maybe get some inspiration for your own space. This is my happy place. I really enjoy the room, and I think this setup is finally the setup. There's only a few things I didn't really like, and all of those items that I'm not really happy with are on wheels, so I can move them when I need to use them. So they were the best element to sacrifice what I wanted, I guess. Anyways, thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoy the tour. I'll be right after this. Hi everybody, it's Barb. Welcome to my craft studio. I thought I would do kind of a quick tour for 2022 since I've rearranged the room. Right now I'm at the entry door. So I think we'll kind of go along this wall. That closet there holds a lot of binders and books that are like kind of how-to. I have binders in there that have my SVGs and some quilting books, crafting books in general, that type of thing in there. There are a few other things in there, but I can't even remember what all's in there right now. And then I can hang my aprons and coats there. And then here is my stand-up desk. I'm going to try to get that to the other way. Hopefully this isn't too bad sliding this. I figured it's probably better than me trying to hold it. This is kind of my stand-up desk. I've got a couple of carts parked there, and my sewing machine sits back in that corner too. The back cart is my sewing cart, and this one here has my Stamps of Life, card-based dies, and some Crafter's Companion. What I don't have a ton. You can't really see in there, and I don't know if I can get someplace where you can to see this side of the. I didn't realize you wouldn't be able. I didn't think about you wouldn't be able to see that there. Here, those are like some planned projects. This has Xyron refills. The bottom one, I think, is a 4-drawer unit, and I've got some of my bulky stuff down there, like there's some wood pieces, there's pom-poms, I think an extra hot glue gun down there, my easy press fit right here. This one has more Xyron refills, and then there's another drawer unit down at the bottom that has more bulky stuff, and there's like a shelf that holds some of my current cataloging ones that need to get put into my scrap rack. This is more projects, mainly sewing projects planned, and then ribbon and twine there. The Edna Buddy bags fit really well on those cubes from Michaels. They don't sell that type anymore because those were, I think, 14 inches. The new ones are 16 inches. At first I was really disappointed when I bought the new ones because I'm like, I couldn't really use them the way I wanted to because, well, they were a different size than the other ones. And then back in this corner, that is a Michael's Hudson cart, and it's got my embossing stuff on the top, and then there's brads and eyelets and sequins on the middle shelf, and the bottom shelf has Dawn bags filled with gems. They're the type that aren't adhesive. I've kind of rearranged a little bit here already. The way back has sewing, and then there's some like washi sheets, crepe paper. I think there's some Cricut chipboard there. There are things I wouldn't use in a normal project when I'm pulling paper, so I kept that stuff separate. And then there's a couple of boxes that have some albums, project albums that I want to do. This side has more cubes, which I'm not going to be able to show you real well, but the front ones here have, I think, light box, and then there's letterbox and a lot more letterboard stuff. The bottom is kind of cataloging supplies, extra scrap rack pages, my paper sleeves. I think there's some magnets down there, that type of thing. That back corner, my washi is in that one. I do have more washi on this side. My seasonal washi is tucked in one of those cubes. That's my card making binder, and these are like more card making supplies. There's SVGs for cards. How to make certain cards is in one of the binder. Sketches for cards. It's a lot of card making supplies. And I don't think I showed you on this side, there are some shelves up there. Those ones have mainly Leanne that have my fat quarters in them. There are a couple right there. There's a Brandy bag that has zippers, a couple Dawn bags that have buttons, and a couple Katcha bags that have binding there. I put up my little dry erase magnet board to put my little different collectible crafty magnets and Nora Roberts schedule. This slat wall has my Stampin' Up stamp sets, and there are some other wooden stamp sets like right here that aren't Stampin' Up, but I stored them the same way. And then the Karen bag there has foil quill cards, and the foils, they were from auto ship I got. Then I've got my 5x7 card bases and mats, the photo mats, card mats. And then it gets into the A2 size. I've got the rainbow for A2 there, and there's some 6x6 paper that I would mainly use for cards there. Oops, got it tilted again. My 4-base scrap rack sits on top of the cube storage. And then my rainbow paper goes from here to almost the end. The last 2 cubes have my themed paper. It's actually like 1.5 cubes that have my themed paper. My seasonal paper, I don't know if we can see here. This is the only thing I'm not real crazy about in the room, is this cart does not have a permanent home, but at least it's on wheels so I can move it to where I want. I'm going to see if I can just pull this out for a second to show you. Back in that corner is a Totally Tiffany paper cart. That one has my Valentine's, spring, summer, and fall. The binders have my embellishments, and then the paper's on the bottom. You can't really see it, but the paper, let's see if I can tilt it just a little bit. The paper for those seasons is on the bottom. Okay, let's just slide that back in here so it's not in the way as we try to move and see the next part of the room. This here is kind of my work area. I've got bills to pay today. It's the 1st, so that's kind of my bill paying binder. I was working on some Cricut projects earlier, so I had my computer up here. Up here, let's see if I can tilt this back far enough. The top two shelves there have, the top shelf is mainly seasonal cards that are completed. I do have like my Christmas card list up there, and I'm trying to think what else was there. Not much. And then the next row, where that blue bag, that's my blue Barbara bag. There, it kind of went out of focus, but it's back in. That's got some of my medical stuff, and then I've got mints and gum in that Monica bag, and then there's candy in the 5x7 fab file right there. And then it gets into Kirsten bags that have my other cards. I think I've got anniversary, birthday, and then there's a couple that have like get well, sympathy, multi-occasion cards. Basically, it's a card that I can use it for anything depending on what sentiment I put on it. And then I've got some lemon drops there because my doctor recommended those for my dry throat, dry mouth. And then my P-Touch is there, and that's a Stephanie bag filled with my P-Touch labels cartridges. And then back in the corner there, there's some coloring agents, my crocodiles, some pens, some sprays, and then this is kind of my main work area. It's where I do most of my work, and I was able to put a lot of my inks and markers there, my most used ones. I even stuck a couple of my ink pads that I use a lot, like my Memento and my VersaFine right there. They were on the other side, and I thought I should have them over here because I reach for those all the time. So that's kind of there. Underneath, I do have this side. The cart is like a tool cart. Let's see if I can move the chair out of the way. There, you can see a little bit better. It's kind of a tool cart. It's got my tools on it. In the back, I have project planning albums and scrapbooks. For basically my scrapbooking supplies are back there. So when I want to work on a scrapbook, I can just pull them out. This cart here is my adhesive cart. It has my most used adhesives. The Xyrons are in the bottom. Behind it, there's another one of those shoe shelves back there, and it's got like back stock of adhesives and whatever. And on the top, there's a couple of big bins that have extra buddy bags and extra fab files. Right now, I'm trying really hard to have one of each. So when I do my video series, I've got one to show you. On top of that one, I keep my guillotine cutter. That's the trimmer I use the most. I've tried a few other ones. I always come back to that one. And then my Stampin' Up! Inks are there. My light box is there. And then back in the door has my big benefit board for the Get Organized Challenge. Right now it's set up for the Go 10 series because I'm hosting a Go 10 challenge in the Get Organized with Totally Tiffany group. But I keep my big benefit board up, and it says my big benefit is crafting is easier. It kind of reminds me that keeping my room neat makes me, I guess, a better crafter because I like coming in here then and I like creating. Whereas if it starts to get too messy and cluttered, I find myself avoiding coming in my room. I know some people kind of thrive on that type of whatever chaos or whatever you want to call it. Now my closet right now is probably what looks the mess. It has my cart parking in it. The black cart back there is another Totally Tiffany paper cart. It has winter and Christmas on it. That's all that's on it. And then the cart next to it that also looks black, that one there, has my Big Shot, some dies, and I think my cinch is on that one too. The cart with the blue apron is my planner cart. It has my Sweet Stamp Shop and other things that I mainly would use on a planner. And then the next one here, that one's my Joy cart. It has my Joy on it and all of my Joy supplies. Right now there's a lot sitting on top. I've got a sewing project, a quilting project that's in process. Buddy bags. These won't be here after I'm done with in the Get Organized Challenge group. I'm taking pictures of the buddy bags holding different products and creating a photo album for each buddy bag so that people can see what goes in it and they can add to it if they use it for something else. But let's see if we can get in there just a little bit and show you kind of what's in the closet. My printer's back there. It's on an Alex drawer from IKEA. It's hard to see, but I store my paper and other printable materials there. This has my most used paper on it. There's cardstock in both sizes and regular paper, because it's a 12 by 12 printer. So, but let's see if we can kind of get in here. Way up top, which you're not going to be able to see unless I can angle it back a little bit. Even then, there's another shelf above that that has mesh for wreaths and stuff. This has kind of my laminating supplies. There's some napkins there, toner foiling, blank tags, stuff for my pinwheel punch board, stuff for the We Are Memory Keepers fuse, flower punch board accessories. There's some chipboard acetate. What else is back there? Craft board. There's some specialty supplies up there. And then this row just has some assorted supplies. A couple of those aren't even labeled right. I know they need to be labeled better. This corner here has some buddy bags that hold paper cut to size for my We Are Memory Keepers punch boards. These are on Cavissel letter trays. I really like those. Down underneath, there's just some bags, my A2 envelopes. I think that's full of maps. I kept those. My father-in-law had a lot of maps, but I thought maybe I could use them in crafting. This I kind of have set up for YouTube. There's one of these for each day of the Monday through Friday, and I can just put that day's supplies that I'll need for a video there. And then there's a couple of blank memento keepers, my stencil binder, and that one's labeled Stamps of Life. It has my Stamps of Life paper in it. Underneath, which you can't see, there's I think they're called a medium storage tower. There's 3 of them. I don't know if Ashland makes that same version like that, but you can fit the iris style cases in them. So I have one for each color, and I think there's one for each season too. So I can store my back stock back here. Like if I have, like when I have the shimmer paper, I only put so much of the paper in my cardstock, and then I put the rest into my back stock back there. Let's see if we can pull out a little bit and get the camera pointed back here. I have some more ink pads. My Adirondack inks are here, my StazOn. In that one there, you can't see it, but my Dilutions paints are there. And then there's some extra writing type things here, colored pencils, my Sharpies. Not sure what else there, but it's mainly coloring tools. Sorry about that. My microphone keeps popping off. Let's attach it someplace else. Down below, I was trying to get a kind of view of that. The first cube here has, the first 2 cubes actually have Totally Tiffany flipping binders. Those have my embossing folders in them that aren't seasonal. If they're very seasonal, like if they're only going to be used for Christmas, they're stored in my on my Christmas cart. And then my wooden stamps are there. The die file is in this bottom one, and that has my just shaped dies. That's all I put there. So that's there. And then it's punches in the next 3 on the bottom row. It's Totally Tiffany punch bags, and that holds my punches. So that's kind of how my room currently looks. I think I'm really going to like the setup. It seems to be, I've crafted a few times already, and it seems to be working. So I'm thinking it'll work. I'm thinking what I'm going to do with this video, this was just kind of a quick overview of the room. I think I might try like each week to focus on a different area, like maybe focus on this section and try to really get in depth of what's in each area and how I'm storing. But this is kind of the big part of the room. This is the important part. This is where the magic happens, I guess. Anyways, I want to thank you for joining me, and I'll catch you next time.